Welcome, everyone, to the grand finale of Z Nation Season 4. Team X, after finding the president, arrives at the United States Capitol, a place now in ruins, swarming with burnt zombies. It seems this place triggered the Last Stand system and was struck by a full-scale nuclear attack. The group searched around but couldn't find any clues, so Roberta started recalling the clues from her visions. When she's done, she picks up the sign and places it on the ground, then has Murphy stand on a rock with his hands folded. While waiting, Roberta fell into another vision. In the vision, a beam of light shone on the ground. Roberta turned around and, sure enough, discovered the entrance to a basement. Then, the group opened a thick steel door, revealing a seemingly bottomless passage. Using ropes, they all made their way down. Murphy asked the question everyone was thinking.
Explain to me again why we gotta bring President Klutz along? I mean, why can't we just bring his thumbs?
As they walked inside, they encountered a zombie, moving along the wall like a blind person, probably due to spending 8 years in the dark basement. Seeing this, Roberta gently knocked on the door. As expected, the zombie, hearing the noise, started to lunge at them, but Roberta took it down with just one hit. They continued forward, coming to a seemingly bottomless staircase, estimated to be around 50 floors deep. Murphy is confused when he hears this. Am I supposed to take this presidential zombie down so many floors? While they were discussing how to get the president down.
So here's what we'll do.
Whoops!
Murphy? Really?
He fell!
Did you just throw the president of the United States down 30 flights of stairs?
Ex-president, and he fell. I swear. Saved us some time.
That was an absolutely brilliant move on Murphy's part. Following the staircase, they discovered the zombified president being eaten by other zombies. Like the first zombie they encountered, these two were also blind, unable to see anything. 10K then spoke up, offering to show off his skills. With a slingshot, he aimed at a nearby metal barrel. The next second, a ricocheted metal ring took out 2 targets in one shot. That's a really cool move on his part. Then, Doc discovered that the president's waist was broken and he couldn't stand up, so he and Murphy prepared to realign the president's waist.
There, see?
They continued deeper inside, quickly arriving at the weapons department, where various offensive weapons were stored, from bombers to nuclear bombs. The group then saw the final weapon, the black rainbow they were searching for. Seeing this eerie symbol, Roberta fell into a vision again, but quickly returned to reality. The dream guided her to go left.
This way.
After a short walk, they arrived at a very narrow passage, where Roberta stopped everyone, feeling something was off ahead. When they shone their flashlight forward, they discovered a group of soldier zombies angrily staring at them. Seeing this, they immediately switched to combat mode and began fighting the zombies. With their coordinated efforts, these zombies were no match for them and were quickly eliminated. Suddenly, someone started throwing zombies down from above, leaving them utterly confused. It was only when they shone their flashlight that Roberta realized the man was Zona Sunshine. After dealing with the zombies blocking their path, Roberta explained to her teammates that the man was from Zona and knew the launch codes. They had to find the drone before him. Following the guidance from her vision, Roberta found the control room and expertly entered the code. Once the door opened, Roberta fell into a vision again, but this time it seemed to be a memory. Roberta woke up in the same place she had awakened from Zona, with Dr. Teller by her side. Dr. Teller then explained to her that she was shot and nearly died, but was saved by Murphy's blood, which brought her back from death's door. They've now developed the latest zombie vaccine, but at the same time, they've encountered new troubles and need your help to navigate this crisis. Dr. Teller then secretly trained Roberta. Using VR technology, he simulated the operation console of the Black Rainbow. Then he told Roberta that she needed to replace the flesh-eating bacteria with the gas canisters she had found earlier in order to save humanity. All these memories were sealed in Roberta's mind through some kind of hypnotic technique by Dr. Teller, triggering her recollection whenever she reached a critical place. This was why Roberta kept falling into visions. Back to reality. Following Dr. Teller's teachings, Roberta approached the launcher and began to modify the launch codes of the Black Rainbow.
Hey guys, we got some locals coming this way.
Shut the door.
At the door, 10K and Lily were holding off zombies, but as the sound of gunfire grew, more and more zombies began to gather. Lily asked Roberta for the code to the main door, as they were about to be overwhelmed. However, Roberta was lost in her memories and couldn't hear Lily's plea. As they were about to be surrounded by zombies, Murphy used his abilities to forcefully enter Roberta's memories.
We need your help.
Murphy?
We need the door code.
8909, got it.
Knowing the code, Doc hurried to close the main door, blocking the crazed zombies. After changing the launch code, Roberta returned to reality. She told Murphy to watch for her signal to act. They would press 2 launch buttons simultaneously, and finally, use the president's fingerprint to activate the drone. Roberta would go alone to replace the gas canisters. Doc and the others offered to help but were directly refused by Roberta, as the mission was perilously close to a death sentence. If she could stop the Black Rainbow Project, they could head to New America to find Addie and start a new life. Roberta then begins to say goodbye to everyone, and everyone is very sad to face the captain who has been with everyone for 8 years, but there was no other way.
And if I'm ever in a coma again, don't wake me.
If she could prevent the world from ending, all her efforts would be worth it. Looking at Roberta's back, everyone looked at each other, not knowing what to say. Roberta then went to the drone alone, but as she turned on the light, Zona's Sunshine appeared, gun in hand. A battle was imminent. Roberta charged forward, shielding herself from the bullets with her shield. As Roberta got close, she and Sunshine grappled with each other. Murphy and the others watched the battle anxiously. Unexpectedly, Sunshine was a fearsome opponent, fighting Roberta to a standstill and even gaining the upper hand. However, Sunshine's age soon showed as a disadvantage, with Roberta overpowering him with several military combatives moves. Before Sunshine could recover, Roberta struck him down again with a single blow. Then, Roberta, holding 2 gas canisters, made her way to the drone. After entering the code, the hatch opened. The cramped space looked like a coffin, perhaps signifying her destiny. Immediately after, Roberta lay down inside the drone. The next second, she entered her memories again, and then she began to recall how to install the gas canisters. Once back in the present, the hatch closed just in time for Roberta to block it with her shield. She then proceeded to install the gas canisters from memory.
You're almost done, Roberta. Just install the red cylinder.
What happened?
Our simulations indicate there's a 78% chance for release of some gas during the loading routine. That's why you have to do this alone.
If I do this, I'm not coming back, am I?
If you don't do this, humanity's not coming back.
For humanity's sake, Roberta adjusted her state and continued with her mission. Then, she opened the hatch to signal Murphy and the others. Upon receiving the signal, Murphy began the countdown. When it ended, Lily and 10K turned the keys and pressed the launch button simultaneously. The countdown for 3 minutes began, and then they saw on the monitors that Sunshine was still alive. Murphy, concerned for Roberta's safety, decided to rescue her against his teammates' advice. At that moment, Roberta, having installed the gas canisters, walked down from the drone, but the next second, Sunshine suddenly appeared, knocking Roberta to the ground with a blow. Roberta, still in a coma, plunged into her hallucination once again, the same vision where she was being scorched. She then recalled the last piece of her memory. Zonas the founder personally appeared before Roberta, initially expressing his gratitude towards her for her contributions to the reboot plan. Roberta was baffled upon hearing this. Wasn't she there to stop the Black Rainbow Plan and save humanity? It wasn't until Roberta snapped back to reality that she realized she was, in fact, the reboot plan itself. The vial wasn't a cure but a flesh-eating bacteria developed by Dr. Teller. Upon this realization, Roberta prepared to resist but was then knocked unconscious by the founder, and subsequently, she returned to reality. At this moment, Murphy arrived late and immediately got into a scuffle with Sunshine. Unexpectedly, Murphy's combat strength surged as he grabbed a gas cylinder and started attacking Sunshine with it. Unfortunately, during their fight, the gas cylinder was accidentally broken, releasing the gas inside. Roberta then sat up from the ground, grabbed the healing gas cylinder, and hurried back to the drone. Doc and the others were left completely baffled, having no clue why Roberta was rushing back to the drone. At that moment, Roberta lay inside the drone, ready to replace the gas cylinder. Unfortunately, the latch that secured the cylinder was broken. preventing Roberta from fitting the healing gas cylinder in place. Seeing that Roberta hadn't emerged, Doc and the others rushed out to rescue her. By then, the drone had started and slowly ascended into the air. Roberta, in a bid to save humanity, held onto the gas cylinder tightly. As the countdown ended, the drone shot up into the sky, and it was at this moment that Doc and the others came out of the control room and witnessed the scene. As the drone reached a certain height, small drones began to detach and form a black rainbow in the sky, the very scene Roberta had seen in her dream.
The black rainbow.
Warren was right.
What the hell?
It's beautiful.
Are we all gonna die?
Looks like it.
This marked the end of Season 4. The finale surely left everyone in a haze. Dr. Teller, who was supposed to be a good guy, wanted to destroy the world. And Zona's Sunshine, who seemed like a villain at first glance, was actually trying to stop the Black Rainbow plan all along. The answers to all these mysteries would only be revealed in Season 5.